West Ham. We'll start off with Vinny this time.
Sean, first of all, can we get your reaction to the fact that the club has got 4 points back after the appeal?
Yeah, I think we're pleased that we got something back. Obviously, you're always greedy, aren't you? Want more, but no, I think it's the points that the club made forward have obviously been listened to, and we've got the 4 points back. So we'll take that, and now of course it brings clarity to the situation, which I think is good for us. It's good for the players, but I think it's good for all actually.
You say clarity, but I suppose you don't have full clarity until the second case is heard as well.
Yeah, but there's nothing we can do about that at this time. Sorry, the main focus is on this appeal and what came from it, and we've certainly parked that now because it's become a fact now. So, like I say, the line's drawn under that. The players are clear on that. Take on the rest of the season at this time and with an open mind.
Given you've got 4 points back, given it's lifted you in the table as well, does it give the place a lift if indeed it needed a lift?
Well, I think everything that helps to give a lift of any kind is good news. I think performances have stayed solid. We haven't had the wins that we'd want, obviously, but I think the performance level's been solid. Adding the detail is important, but I think getting 4 back, I think it gives, like I say, some form of. I don't think a boost is the right word, but I think it's an adjustment to the table that was apparent. Is now apparent, and it was needed because I think everyone felt that 10 in the first place was harsh. Some would argue, like I say, I'm always greedy, obviously, but some would argue maybe we were expecting more back. But I would say, well, it's done now, and that was all we were looking for. We obviously wanted points back, but the main thing was to bring clarity for us starting the start point. Sorry, and most importantly, but for everyone, who I thought found it all a bit of a interesting period, let's say. So I think it brings that moment of clarity.
Turning to matters on the pitch, how are you looking injury-wise? Thinking in particular Garner Gay, obviously.
Yeah, he's still, he's still settling down, and Amadou's got a groin thing similar to Gannis actually, which are just settling down. So we'll make a more of a decision on them tomorrow. Arnie's doing well with his ankle, but it's obviously a longer-term situation. But he's doing really well. I just spoke to him actually just before I came in, and he's in a good place with that side of things and going well. Andre's been back on the grass with us. He's going well, and Delhi's focus is just getting fit. Nothing other than that. Obviously, he's got a period yet, but he's just focusing on that.
Are you thinking with Delhi though that he's not going to be available again this season? And if so, what does that say about his future?
No, I tried. Someone asked me recently, and I said we're trying to just let him get fit. We're not worried about when he's available. We're just saying, right, first things first, get fit. So that's all we're looking for him to do, and that's all he's looking to do.
What are your expectations against West Ham as well? Because they seem to have an up and down season. Obviously, you remember the game down there earlier, back in October, where Dominic Calvert-Lewin got the winner, of course.
Yeah, we played well. I thought we gave a good performance that day, and Dominic took a real good goal. First, I think most importantly, David Moyes is someone I have a massively high regard for. Always been a voice, certainly if I've ever needed it, or even after games, share a bit of time with him. There's all experience, a vast experience he's got. So there's certainly an immediate respect there for him. A good guy as well. I've been in his company socially. I always have a bit of fun with him. And I think he's done a great job over a period there. And I know he did here, obviously, very high regard at Everton Football Club, and rightly so. And I think he's done a very good job down at West Ham. There's always question marks over what we do, but if you look at the period he's had there and now from where they were to where they are now, I think there's a lot of progress there. And he always has an outfit that are competitive. He's made that quite clear. So, we have to go into the game with the right state of mind. I think we are. I think we are in the right place at the moment as a team, but we need to find them defining moments. And I think, they become ever important if you haven't been winning.
If you can add 3 points to the 4 already, it makes it a very big week for the football club.
Yeah, and I mean, excuse me, we just come away right at the end to not take all 3 down at Brighton, but arguably over the game, you could argue, well, okay, you'd accept the point. It's a tough place to go. We all know that. But adding on with the points given back, and then if you can add on a win on the back of that, obviously that, as you rightly say, would be a very good week.
Hi, Sean. Just looking at West Ham, obviously Jarrod Bowen got the hat-trick in the previous match. The style of centre-forward that he is when he plays through the middle, how different and difficult is that as a team to adapt when you've been playing up against Ferguson in the last game or a Mateta in the match before that? How much of a different challenge is it?
Well, yeah, on the other hand, I mean, the Premier League has such an array of different styles and different players in different positions that I think the format, the tactical understanding, the size is the most important thing. He's a very good player. He's done very well since he's been down there. Jarrod Bowen, I remember him playing for Ireland, doing well there and making his name. And they ended up paying a pretty good fee to get him out, and he's proved it right, what he's done. But I don't think it's just about one player. I think I know they've had a tricky spell, but I think they're a decent outfit. They always put out a competitive side. But no, our players, I think, should have enough knowledge of the Premier League to know that all the different styles, all the different individuals have to be delivered a good performance to stop them doing what they do. And I think we'll have to do that against West Ham.
When you look at West Ham, is it annoying that they've got that first win of 2024 against Brentford and come with a bit more confidence?
No, I've said all along, I can only manage what I manage here. I can't manage other people's situations. You can't decide whether people are in good or in different form. So no, I think the reality of the Premier League is being right for every game. And I don't think we've been a million miles away. I said that early season, and we did get wins after good performances. And I've said it recently, I think a lot of the performances have been winning performances, but we haven't found the details that count, and that's our next step. And it has been all season, really. I think we've had a good level of consistency, which I spoke of when I got here. And now it's adding the details in both boxes, and we're not far away, I don't think. But we've got to get it right. We've got to get it right, though, especially against teams like West Ham coming up here. Because as mentioned, getting the 4 points back, good point at Brighton, a tough place to go. And then if we can take all three again, then that's a real big week.
Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Julia at Radio Merseyside.
Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Just on the points, you'd said last week that the fact it was still going on, it was starting to drag everyone down, and everyone was talking about it a lot, and there is that noise around the club. Is there a different feeling the last few days since there's been a decision, and just how much of an unusual situation was it to manage players in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the early part of it was I didn't think the word galvanised was used. I don't think we needed that. I thought we'd had a couple of big results anyway. I thought the performance levels were good, but we won 4 on the trot. Then you have a tougher spell of results and injuries, and all the game fixtures start piling up, and then a sort of indifferent period, mainly draws, and then it does start to creep in eventually. But to be fair to these players, I must credit them. It took a long time for that to happen. We're all waiting. The noise gets bigger and bigger. When's it coming? When's it coming? The players hear all that. And I thought they've stayed pretty steadfast at performance levels. And like I say, we've got the details right in both ends in certain games. We'd have won them games. So I certainly have a lot of respect for the playing group because all the outside noise, it does creep into you eventually. And I think they've done well to bat it away and stay focused on the job in hand. And what it has done now is brought clarity. Whatever the points back, or good or bad, whatever points it would have been, or even 0, at least it would have brought the finality of it. Right, that's it. Now we crack on. As it happens, we get 4 back. The league table looks different. And now it's about using that wisely and stepping on. But I think we've been doing that anyway. So, like I said, I'll give a lot of credit to the players here because the noise was beginning to build. I try and be honest when I speak to you, and I thought it was beginning to just creep in the last few games and the few weeks. And now that's it. The line's drawn and we move forwards.
You've had more goals from set pieces this season than open play. Are you doing anything at the moment to try and change that? I'm just thinking because Dominic's without a goal in 20 games, Beto last scored in December. Is there anything different you're doing to try and help with that?
I think through what we do in training, and excuse me, finding different ways of creating chances. But I think we've done that considerably well over the season, actually. So I think the moment of truth is someone putting it in the net. And I think they know that. They don't have to keep being reminded. They're certainly not reminded about it from me every day. They know. Strikers know, midfield players know, wide players know you can still score from set pieces, which, as you know, we've been strong at. No, I think they know where it's at, but it's our job to keep, and our responsibility to keep getting the team to forge the chances, to find the chances, and the higher quality chances gives you an easier opportunity to score. So that's a team's job, my job, and the staff's job, to get the team to do that. And I think we've done it pretty much for large parts of the season. We've got to continue doing that.
Chimiti scored twice in the midweek for the under-21s. How close is he to pushing Dominic and Beto? I know he's still young.
Yeah, I mean, he's still learning. We see him every day in training and he's getting the odd game here and there. Excuse me, he's a development style player. It wasn't originally thinking we were going to be that close to the first team. We wanted to develop him to get to the first team, but he's had to be around it because of the lack of numbers. But he's still got a lot of growth in him, and I can see it, and I think he is improving.
Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikolenko, just some of the players that seem to play every minute of every game. I think Tarkowski last season was the only outfield player as well to play every minute of Premier League action. Given you have got a small squad, you can't really be changing them and they're doing a good job. Do you worry about burnout or do you do anything to help them with that?
No, just crack on. Get me playing. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about that. At the end of the day, I think it can affect you when you're playing in all different varying competitions. We haven't done, no Europe and things like that. I've been through that, so I've experienced that. It can be a lot to take on, especially when you're new to it. But I think the game schedule, apart from December, I think that was hard, and I spoke clearly on that. And now we've got these chunks of weeks when we haven't played, and that can be a frustration. But at the end of the day, we're asking the players to work hard. They get better support than ever now, players. Whether it be, their health and well-being, whether it be their diet, whether it be strength and conditioning, the feedback, the stats, the facts. So the balance, we ask a lot of players, football asks a lot of players with the extra time added and all things like that, but they have got a lot of support, and never more so than ever in football clubs. So we ask a lot of them, but we do protect them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Any further questions in the open section? Will, we'll see you.
Hi, Sean. You talked about clarity with the points deduction. Would you like some clarity now for the Premier League in regards to the takeover, because that has been rumbling on a lot longer than people expected?
It's out of my hands, that. Just wait and see what happens. Like I said, I've got no news to report. Nothing's changed from my point of view. And until it does, then, I'm sure I'll inform you. But it's an ongoing process.
So is that completely different to the point? Because obviously that plays on the players, but the takeover, they don't...
No, I don't think so. I think the point's different. The points tally and the idea of the appeal was a much different situation. They're not worried about takeovers. No, that's way miles above what you do on a football pitch. That's something for another day. But no, their focus will be, or would have been, on this appeal process at the end of that period that I spoke of. Finding, okay, where is it now? It's been dragging on and on and on. Where is it? Everyone wants to know. So I think that's more important to them in their world, which is points on the board and deliveries on the pitch.
Into the business end of the campaign now, I'm sure you're starting to plan for next season. Obviously,
every game's the business end. Everyone uses that tag. The first game of the season is the business end. It's all the business end of the season.
But when do you start maybe planning for the likes of, say, Garner Gale's contract, James Coleman's contract?
It's ongoing. Me and Kev are in real open dialogue. We are, or not so much me, but Kev is with the agents and the players. They all know where it lives. It's an ongoing situation.
Same with the players,
with all of them. Every whether it's young players that we're looking at to protect the future of the club, whether it's the older players looking to protect the now. Every situation, the people who are on board with everything, they know what's going on. Everyone should know a version of everything, because Kev's got that. Definitely, I know for a fact, get the open lines of communication with everyone. Thank you.
Any further questions in the open section? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.